You're learning.
I was going to have Alexis watch the video and make a training document, and then I was going to reread the training document. I was telling Alexis, I was like, because when I had you come work here, I was like, I didn't know if you'd be lazy or good. And like the second week you got here, I was like, oh, she's better than me. I sure won the lottery. It was like, I mean, when we were younger, like, I mean, I didn't know if you were a hard worker because, like, I was like just busy looking up your skirt.
It's true. When we were 22.
I would find reasons to hug Laura.
So she's very enamored with me.
I'm not feeling good right now. I need a hug.
You're like, oh, my son. And I pat her head. So the point is, don't trust your friends. Okay? They're all sneaky. No, we were teaching English at different schools, so we didn't work together. Like, we both were on the same program, but we didn't work together. So Essa thought that I was probably, like, secretly lazy.
Well, I'm not lazy. I just didn't know if you were like...
She was like, why are people doing, like, working hard?
And then another one is, I wasn't sure how long I was in there for, and I was worried about hearing the chime, so I just got out early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people say that sometimes. So, again, it's important during the orientation to let people know that they'll hear the chimes, and then if they don't hear the chimes, then the pump will sound immediately after, and that's the signal that the session's over. You know, because sometimes people are like, was that the chime, or was that not the chime? I mean, you'll kind of hallucinate while you're in there. Like, you'll see things, like you'll see lights and stuff if you turn everything off, but there aren't any lights. Sometimes you'll hear things that, like, you don't actually, it's not there.
Hey, the pump will wake you up, yeah.
The pump will wake you. Did you fall asleep in there? You probably needed it, right? Did you do 90 minutes before when you were in Texas?
I don't remember. It's been a few years.
Oh, that's good. 90 minutes, like, a perfect amount. All right, and it was your first time, right?
Yes.
Okay. So,
can you tell me about the memberships?
Yeah, for sure. So we have a lot of different levels of membership. The most basic one that people get is the single membership. It is $49 a month, and you get one free 1-hour float with that. So we charge your card on the 25th, which is 6 days from now, right? So we'll charge your card the $49, and that morning at like 4 or 5 a.m. we add a 1-hour float credit to your account. So the normal price for an hour is $70, so you're saving $21 on the first float. And then all the additional floats you purchase after that are half off. So if you like 90-minute floats, instead of $100, it's going to be $50 each time. So just floating once saves you money on it. They roll over from month to month, so if you don't have time for a month or two to come in, you don't lose those 1-hour float credits. They just stay on your account for up to a year.
Okay.
So it's monthly. You can cancel any time. It's not like an annual contract. So
can I do the family one, being just one person?
You certainly can. You get the 3 floats, which is nice.
Right.
And so if you want to do that, I can sign you up today, and you get half off today.
Let me do that one.
Okay, cool. So like I said, we'll store the card on file.
Okay.
Okay. We'll create a customer profile for her first. We do that upstairs on Massage too when we need to take people's cards on file. Let's see here. Is this the correct spelling? H-U-T-S-I-C-K?
Yes.
And Julie?
Yes. That's the irregular thing.
Yeah, for sure. So then we'll hit create customer. If she's floated here before and ever paid with a card, it would find a profile for her because it Square saves them. And then a phone number, please, Julie.
262-417-8974.
Okay. And then do you want this iCloud to be your email address, or do you want a different one?
Nope, that one.
First name, last name, right?
Yep. Nothing in between.
Awesome. So in order to save cards on file, we do need an email address as well. So we need a phone number and an email address. We don't need their mailing address or anything like that. If this screen is up and you want to put it down, you just push this button so you can see the rest of it. Just, and put save. has a profile created for her. We're going to hit card on file. We're going to hit add card. You did this last night for Halloween. Yeah. So you can dip it straight up and down. Okay. And then it's going to ask you to agree to save it. And then ask if that's your correct email address. And I think it needs the zip code. That's the last thing the client puts the zip code in. If we're doing it over the phone, we take this screen and we type it in ourselves. Okay. Alright, so your card is saved. And then I just give you some paperwork.
Alright.
So, Anne, could you grab one of those black clipboards and take the massage sheet off of it? So the family membership is 3 pages. You don't need to fill out all these member preferences on it, obviously. You don't even need to fill your own out. But just put your name, email address, and phone number on this first page.
Okay.
And then on the second one, you're going to put the last 4 digits of your credit card, print your name here, and then sign on this one.
Alrighty.
You can just skip a lot of those member preferences if you don't want to fill them out. Here you go. So we have a card on file. Okay. So now, when we check her out, if she hadn't signed up for a membership, under the special rate for full fee of first time single, it's just 80 instead of the 100. But because she's signing up for a membership, she gets half off starting today. Today's the first day she starts getting a half off. So it'll be just $50 instead of 80. She's already saving money on that. So just 50. Hit charge. And then, do you want to just pay with this new card for today's school?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Do I stick it back in?
Yeah, if you just tap it at the bottom, that's perfect. And then if you would like a receipt or anything, you can finish through there. So when we're doing the membership, what we need to do in this moment is take the card on file and then have the paperwork done.
Okay.
And then Chelsea creates the invoice and sets them up as a member in
Okay.
Helm. So we take her paperwork when it's done, we stick it right over here, we take a picture of it, and we text Chelsea, hey Chelsea, we got a new club member,
Okay.
such and such signed up for a family membership. And then Chelsea knows to get that all squared away before the 25th.
Just make sure that you're messaging Chelsea, because some people will just put it over here just assuming that Chelsea will see it. But Chelsea never works down here, so she won't know that it's here unless you message her on Slack.
Can you go over the pricing on it again?
After this
Yes,
plan is
fine.
done. Awesome.
And then do I just
Okay,
make
and then we
appointments
can
like I
finish
did?
Yeah, you just book online.
Okay.
And then you don't have to prepay for them online.
Okay.
Like I said, the credits will be added to your account on the 25th. So you get 3 1-hour float credits added at like 5 a.m. on the 25th.
Okay.
And so when you make the bookings online, it'll let you, kind of pick what you want to do. We can't take 1-hour credits and break them into like 2 30 minutes, for example.
Okay.
We can take 3 1-hours and put them into 2 90s.
Okay.
So we can make it longer, but we can't make it
Make it
shorter.
shorter.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, yeah,
Good
so
to
just
know.
book online, same as
Because I was like,
usual.
otherwise I'll just pay extra for the extra.
Which you certainly can do it that way.
If I want to do all 3.
But that's something we can do. We can't make them shorter, but we can, put them together and make them longer.
All
So,
right.
yeah. You're all set.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too.
And I write her name in all caps on the top. Like I said, and I put it here. And I take a picture. I just like to take pictures of things because it's more memorable than just a boring text message. Then we go to Slack. Then we go to Chelsea.
And also, if people are calling with membership issues, like if they want to cancel their membership, we usually just write down their name and their phone number, and
Message
message
Chelsea.
Chelsea. Yeah,
Because-
he handles all the membership issues.
But often they'll want to do it like right before, you know, like right before the 25th. So you want to make sure that it's like you send that message and don't forget. Because if it's like, if you wait a day or two, they'll get charged, then we have to refund them. You know what I mean? So if it's like the 24th, send the message to Chelsea immediately. You know what I mean? So, we've got a new family member. What was I going to say about memberships? I canceled someone's membership today.
Do you make money off of them?
Memberships? It's nice to have the stable
Cash flow.
income every single month, you know?
And members tend to like post about it on social media and stuff, and so it's like free advertising. And so if we were fully booked all the time, then memberships would be bad for us because we could be getting full price
Right.
clothes. But because we're not, and we have like lots of availability still,
It's promotional.
it's
too.
promotional.
And they tend to be like dedicated, consistent customers too.
So I think we determined in order to be profitable, we need to make at least, was it 45 minutes on $45 on 3 floats in a room a day. But now that we have more staff, it's probably more than that. Remember?
Yeah.
Because we needed at least 3 floats per room.
Right.
So on days when we only have like 2, we're not making money, we're losing money. But that's why the couples floats are so great. Because, you know,
A lot of float centers have a really difficult time making money, you know, but the couples floats, because you're using, you know, less of your resources. That's why Jason was like, you want all the rooms to have 2 showers in it? That's a little excessive.
yeah.
Like, all the rooms have to have 2 showers in it. Because
Yeah.
I knew that's how I was going to make money. There's
Right.
other float centers that struggle. More float centers struggle than are successful.
Yeah, float centers, especially during the pandemic, they like, I don't know, over half of them closed or were like on the brink of closing.
Including some of our friends.
A lot of our friends
Yeah.
closed. Yeah. And they have great centers. It's just, it's hard to make money on a float center. They just don't. Every time someone comes in the door and they're like, I want to open a float center, I'm like, don't do it. Doing a job here?
In Pewaukee, actually, that's going to open up. And Laura tried to talk them out of it, and they were just like, no.
She was like, I'm going to do a whole build out on, what did she have, like, $70,000. $75,000.
Yeah.
I was like, we spent $70,000 per room.
Yeah.
You want 4 tanks
Yeah.
for $75,000? You're not gonna do it, lady.
Yeah.
No. Just do acupuncture.
Yeah.
What did you want to go on with the pricing
Yeah,
for the
go ahead.
membership rate or for how much I charge her
The
today?
whole thing, go over the math on it.
Okay.
So she had a single 1 hour float at,
So
absent anything,
so if she wasn't a member, is what you're saying?
correct, let's start from square one.
Okay, but it was her first time floating,
Right,
so she gets $20 off.
right.
So under special rates floats, first time single, she's $80. So it should have been $100. She got $20 off because it was her first time. Do you understand that?
She was a single, what was her time on that?
90
90,
minutes.
okay, I see she was.
There's not a lot of 90-minute ones.
That's why I was,
Probably.
and that threw me off right away. That's what threw me off. Very few things do, but, well, actually, many things do. Yeah, because I'm sitting next to super hot. That'll do it.
Yeah. You'll probably be fine when I'm not here. Reading down your notes.
Yeah, maybe.
Reading down your notes.
No longer.
And that's it too.
Oh, I know, right? Just looking at you with hard eyes. Looking at me with hard eyes. Oh, no.
Alright, so
Okay.
it would have
So
been
it was
100 if it was nothing, if she was a
Yeah,
normal
so
circumstance,
let's
she would have been $100.
And you can see what it looks like. So it would have been 100.
Right, but she's first timer, so it's $20 off.
Would have been $20 off.
Okay.
So it would have been 80.
And then she gets
So
a
that's
half
under-
off the 80 now.
No, half of the full price, the 100. Because she signed up for a membership. Member single.
Okay.
that's what she paid today. Now, if I charge her card on file, it's more expensive for us. Our credit card company charges us a higher percentage rate when we charge a card on file than when they pay with a card here in the store. So when she tapped it, it only charged us like 2%. If I charge the card on file, it charges 2.5%, which isn't a big deal, but Essa kind of pinched every penny.
Sure.
So because she was sitting right there with her card right next to her, I asked her to tap it for me, and that saved us $1 or something. You know what I mean? But it makes a difference.
So but if we do it through so if she doesn't hear it instantaneously, that's how
It's cheaper for us, for her to do it with her card.
It's just how it works.
Because of convenience, they know that they can get people on the card on file.
And it's that much money, like who cares? And they're
Right.
probably making $1 million.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it does.
I know. I really understand. I mean,
Lots
I
of
get
people
it.
have Square.
So here, but in this situation, so basically, her $20 off doesn't exist.
Correct, because she's getting a membership.
I get it, but it
If you want me to update the website,
No, but I'm
to
just
say
saying,
it's
I would
half
understand.
off of the full price. Look, correct.
Yeah, but I
It's
mean,
half
but
off of the full
so in
price.
so more times than not, the half off or the whatever thing you're giving is illusory.
Yeah,
That's fine. I just want to make sure I'm understanding
it
what
is.
I had.
So she's getting a better deal, and we're getting much less money.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't know why
So
it's
Square's
so.
fees for a standard processing fee is 2.6% plus 10 cents for contactless payments, swiped or inserted chip cards, and swiped mag stripe cards. So when she taps the card, when she swipes the card, when she inserts the chip, it charges us 2.6% plus 10 cents. If she's manually keyed in, so if we're doing it over the phone, and I do manual credit card entry, if she is using a card on file, which is an option right here, or manually entered using the virtual terminal, is 3.5% plus 15 cents. And invoices cost 2.9 plus 30. Oh yeah, so 3.5 plus 15 if you use card on file. So when we use the card on file, we're losing more money. Which isn't a big deal in the long term, but it is. I mean, no, it's not a big deal in this interaction, but it builds up.
No, I get it. And like I said,
So
for them, if they have
if she
10,000 different businesses using it, it's a gigantic
If she
deal.
forgot her card in the car or something, or she breezes out without paying because she knows she's a member and we have her card on file. Sometimes people do that. They're just not going to wait around
Totally.
and just leave.
Well, the other day we did something or whatever.
So we just charge the card on file.
So here, can you do it again for me? Show me again.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
The member rate.
Well, so we started out.
So
She's
a single quote, but it's her first time, so special rate.
Right.
And she didn't do a 60. She did a 90 single. $80. So then she said, I'm interested in a membership. And so I didn't charge her for this.
Right.
And I asked her, I told her about the single rate, and she knew about the family rate. So she researched this before she came. She knew she wanted this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So she's just wanting me to kind of.
Well, she thought she was curious if she wanted it, and then she had her float
And then
and had a lovely
So I put her in
family
room
service.
6.
Yeah, I know.
Put her in the nicer room. She's like, I'm sticking around, right? So,
All right.
she.
So right now it's 80 bucks.
But she signed up for a membership.
And so she gets half off.
So I clear this all together.
So instantly that she's a member.
As soon as she signs up and get her card on file.
She's half her house. We haven't charged her anything yet, so it's
So we clear it all out. We don't do anything on that one. We don't care about it anymore. Now we're members, which is VIP, a whole different category. So we go to members
So we
single.
clear it out and then, alright, so then it's member single float 90 minutes for $50.
So it's half off of the base rate, like a full price quote.
Right. I get it. I just have to think about it a couple times. I can see where people really screw that up all the time. Because a lot of people would still think she gets $20.
Well, it says $20 off.
I get it. I know. I'm just saying.
Okay, but
your
this is
staff
actually-
will.
Yeah, but this is very clear because
Oh, is it? Is it really?
Well,
'Cause
it
you're
says
looking at
right
your
on here.
version.
It says 60 minutes for 50 or 90 minutes for 80. So it doesn't say.
But then she's like, well, but I'm a first time floater.
Yeah. Now I say that discounts only for full price float.
That works.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
But
that works
yeah,
too.
I can make it more clear for my staff.
Well, I'm not saying it because you're going to have somebody who's going to say, wait a second.
I know. Well,
And you're going to say, well, your website doesn't say that.
yeah.
Oh, can't you understand why I think that
Right.
you're duping me here?
Well, up until January, Esther, Chelsea, and I were always on the staff. And so even if Mary was here or someone else was
Right.
here, we were always here.
So that's kind of what I do.
So
I get it. I know. I totally get it. It's just,
the
it's hard to, I mean, you're looking at it through two different lenses. And so,
well, I've considered making like
and you don't want to be too explicit because then they're like, well, wait a second.
right, exactly.
You know,
yeah, for
I
sure.
get it, totally.
For sure, yeah. So David's looking to restructure all of our prices.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I told David, I was like, Laura calls herself a socialist, but she's really not. She's raised her prices 4 times since she is a capitalist if there ever was one. But anyways, what about when clients are like, can you help me get in and out of the tank?
We already discussed this when you weren't here.
Oh, okay, you discussed that. Okay. And then
We never helped them in and out.
okay, great. And then I want to bring my kid, but I'm not sure if they can relax or handle it.
Don't come. Take them to a splash park. We need to look up free splash parks in the area and recommend they do something like that.
Lola said like her son was like splashing around in there, and yeah.
She did 2 hours. You know. Well, anyway, yeah. So I tell people like, listen, like I've floated with my daughter since she was 6. Okay, it's a great thing to do. But you're not going to relax in there. When you're floating with a young child, you're facilitating their float. Okay, use those words. You are facilitating their float. That means you're not floating. You're not enjoying your float. Like, you're in the tank with them, like you might be floating, you know, but really your job is to help facilitate their float. Okay? When really young children want to come in and float, and we do have people whose kids have autism or behavioral problems and things, and floating's really great for them. It really, really is, you know. But the first experience is definitely more difficult because if they get salt in their eyes, or if they have any stings or cuts or burns or sensitive areas that you know the salt irritates and stuff. It's difficult, so there's a learning curve for it. So I definitely tell people I would recommend only booking a 30-minute for your first time float for kids under 12. But a 30-minute is probably like about as long as they can go in there. But if you and your child often do yoga or meditation together, you might be able to have them do a 45-minute or an hour. And if you tell them that, like if you do yoga with your kid, okay, those moms know if they fucking do yoga with their kid or not. They do not, okay? This kid won't even sit at the table, right? So, hi, how was it?
Good.
How's your toe?
Oh, it's fine. Once I get in there.
Okay. That's fine. Do you need some water or tea or anything?
Oh, I'm good. Just waiting for him.
Okay. Yeah, so younger kids, like 12 and under, I really strongly recommend just doing a 30-minute float, you know? And you do remind them, you can only bring 1 child per adult, so you can't bring 2 of your kids in with you. A, you'll have a horrible time, and B, you'll have to pay the full price for the other kid, right? So, we tell them just 1 kid per adult. And I'll often recommend, like, trying to look up some meditation tracks or bedtime stories for kids, like on YouTube, something for younger children to focus on while they're in the tank, makes it more relaxing for them. Most of them can't just be in the silence their first time in there. you know, or even just with the ocean sounds or something. If they're listening to a story or something while they're in there, it's much more likely that they'll like stop wiggling around and stuff. But they should really just do a 30-minute.
Is there an issue with letting people bring in music? I mean, is that something that ever happens?
Members are allowed to play their own music through our sound system, but we used to have like a little floating inflatable unicorn Bluetooth speaker, but that died because of the salt. And so I and Chelsea and other people, we just put our phone like on the edge of the tank, but outside of the blue wall, and you'll still hear it like just fine through it if you turn it all the way up. If you listen to guided meditation tracks too, by the way, another pro tip, male voices tend to be easier to hear than female voices in the water. Just. Did you have something else about kids, Essa?
Nope, nothing else about kids. And then the next one, the client said...
This is exhausting, Essa.
I know, that's why I picked the shift that you're on.
Where did you get all these? Did you compile these?
I compiled them, but also Alex was like, oh, I know all the questions people ask me. And so she gave me a lot of these, yeah. And then clients that come in that you suspect to be drunk, we've had that before.
We've got a breathalyzer.
Do you really?
Yeah, we do. It's for drunk Kevin. I'll tell you all the story of drunk Kevin. Okay. We have a breathalyzer if we need to measure anyone before they go in. So we used to have a client who was a member, and he brought, so sometimes people decide it's a date night and they're going to bring a bottle of alcohol in the room, and we don't see it, and then we find like empty bottles of alcohol in the room, and it's just a terrible idea, okay? A, don't float drunk, okay, because it'll make you nauseous, and it'll make you have to pee. It's a terrible idea. Like, just don't do it. Are you enjoying our training, Andrea? Are you sure you want that new job there? You can work here for us.
I might need to someday.
We'll keep a spot open for you. But we, you know, people will be like, I'm really stressed or I'm anxious about it. Like, we've had people who really want to get the benefits of floating, but they're like their anxiety is too high that they can't like come and get in the tank or like get out of their house and come over here when they haven't altered their state. I once had, you know, I had a conversation with Kevin, the member, and I was like, listen, like, I don't care if you want to like smoke weed or do some gummies or stuff before you come in. That's like much safer in the tank, but like you could die if you're super drunk when you're in there, because the only tank deaths really that people are aware of are from like ketamine overdoses, you know? Like too much horse tranquilizer is not good for you. Hi, Lau. Don't do ketamine. Don't do a lot of ketamine and get in a float tank. Also, probably just don't do a lot of ketamine and try to do other activities outside of your home. I don't know about your life, but it's not a good idea. But alcohol, you could flip over in the tank if you're like unconscious and drown. You know, almost you really can't really flip over and drown in the tank like unless you're under the influence of something like a lot of something. Because Kevin would come in, and he had, like, the tall boys that's, like, 8% alcohol or whatever, and he, like, had one in his cargo pants once, and I needed to give it up and put it behind the desk before I would let him go in. And then he kept, like, booking when I wasn't on shift and, like, tricking the other people into, like, letting him in. And he kept, like, he had, like, chewing tobacco in his, like, hoodie pocket all the time, and he got it in our tank once. Do you remember that, Essa?
I remember
He,
that,
like, reached in, and he, like, got it all in our tank, and I was like, Kevin, you're adding so much work for me. Like, I'm about to fire you as a client. Like, if you can't come, like, not drunk, then you can't float. And then we had all these arguments, and he was like, well, I can't even have one beer before going in. I was like, no, you have to blow a 0.00 to get in my tank. Like, you can't get in it. And he's like, that's not fair. I could drive a car. And I was like, I don't care if it's fair or not. Like, you can't drink before getting in my tank. Because one time, he did drink before getting in, and he passed out, and he was snoring in there. And they had to have his wife go in and wake him up and get him out. Because I flipped all the lights on, I played all this music and stuff, and couldn't wake him up. I didn't want to go in and see him naked in there. And luckily his wife was there, so I sent her in, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I was like, I'm either banning you or, like, we're doing this regimen. You can only float when I'm on shift, and you have to blow a 0 on this before I'm going to put you in there. So I had a talking to with him, and he did. And anyway, it's a long, complicated story that ends up with, like, him probably actually having schizophrenia, and it wasn't good, and we had to end up banning him anyway, because he started having all these paranoid delusions. Floating's not good if you have certain personality disorders, by the way, because you're prone to paranoid delusions. It lets you have, like, he did overnight floats and stuff, and spent too much time in the tank. It wasn't very good for him. But in that case, you know, obviously just escalate up to the chain if you think people are, like, frequently floating drunk. We have much stronger boundaries now than we did at the time.
Is there a policy against it?
Yeah. Oh, it's on the waiver. You can't float drunk at all. You can't float under the influence of any drugs or alcohol. Like, you know, technically on the waiver, you can't even, you know, have weed or anything.
But people often do come in here smelling like pot.
Yes. Hi, how do you feel?
Really?
Good. But we do sometimes have, like, couples floats, and we'll go in the room afterwards, and there's, like, a bottle of sparkling, like, rosé or something in there, and we put a note on their account, and we let them know the next time that they come in, like, you can't drink while you're in there, and also you can't have glass in the float room, you know, stuff like that. But you're really not supposed to do that at all while you're floating. It's just a bad time. I can't imagine.
Why would you even want to?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's everything we're trying to do.
I know, right? But people come for the experience, you know? They'll book it like, oh, it's Saturday date night, let's go do a float. And they think it's like a hot tub, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. But
People ask all the time if they can bring a little bit of champagne into the
yeah, they'll want to, you know, couples massages, they'll want to have champagne or something. I can get you checked out.
All right.
So we did a couples 60-minute, and then do we do the CBD before
that's right.
to It's here. There it is. Okay, 70. $10 of real cash and $5 of credit cash.
Okay.
All right. Have a great one.
You too. Thank you.
Leave any lines in there for you.
Well, I appreciate it.
Next time.
Next time. So yeah, but we do tell people, like, you can't have any. Hey, how's it going? We're just training people on difficult clients. Haha. Haha.
Would you like me to be a difficult client?
Well, maybe later. It's part of our role play portion of the evening.
Did he suspect that a customer, because, like, you can smell when someone has smoked weed, or if
Right.
someone's very drunk, you can smell alcohol on them. Should we be turning those customers away if they come
Right.
in?
Hey, we're just talking about difficult clients.
Oh, okay.
So for weed, like I said, like, honestly, they are not at risk with that one. The only thing that could be a problem, I think we actually had someone smoke, like, in the room, which you can't, it leaves a scent behind, you know what I mean? I mean, if you're, like, really, like, saturated with weed, and you shower or float, like, sometimes the room can smell like weed. I mean, the massage rooms are more likely to, the therapists sometimes get a contact high giving people a massage after they're, like, really high. And a lot of people, especially late at night, Like if they're late to their appointment, it's because they're hotboxing in the car before they come in. And so I do tell people, I'm like, you know, like if you're more than 15 minutes late, we do have to shorten your appointment time, you know, because we don't want to be getting them in at like 9:05 or something. You know what I mean? Take care. So congratulations on your new job. So we want to make sure that people are not being abusive with like the whole being late thing, you know. So if they're super late, so then they like hurry up and smoke and then come in instead of like spending 30 minutes in their car getting really high. Because it's you know, it's just kind of a waste of their experience if they do too much before they come in. But they're not at any risk. But if you think that they're drunk, then definitely we can't let them in the tank. But there are times when it's like not until you're in the room with them, like you walk them in the room until you're standing close enough that you can smell it, you know, and then you have to like, you know, obviously be safe. And if you feel like unsafe, like being alone with a possibly drunk person who might be mad at you, if you tell them that they can't float, then you can like come out and like radio for other help or like end their session too, and then knock on the door, and then when you're outside of the door, like tell them that like, you know, that they violated our alcohol policy and that they're not able to float today, but we won't charge them. Usually people aren't going to be super mad about not charging you. Kevin did tell me he was going to call the police on me once. He was really abusive.
I think he ended up trying to float at Float Milwaukee is what ended up happening.
He did, because I called, what was his name? Thorin? Thorin was his general manager. I called Thorin and I was like, listen, we had this guy and he like accused us of human trafficking a white girl, which was interesting. Do you remember how he thought we were trafficking Liz?
Yeah.
And he thought she had like a fake Facebook account. Yeah, like he thought that his baby mama kidnapped one of our employees and then had a fake Facebook account and Instagram account and was posting pictures of her and pretending to be her, but really we had sold her into sex slavery. It was like a whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, so I called all the local area float centers and told them floating's not good for Kevin.
Can you tell me about the breathalyzer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Part of our difficult client training.
I heard it was also like you had one because you had workers here that like drank a lot before shift or something like that.
No,
We've had employees who have smoked before.
Yeah, we don't really care.
Anyone that drink,
We don't care about weed. Just don't come to work drunk.
Just don't bring the weed here.
Well, absolutely don't bring the weed here. Yes, do not bring the weed here. But also, no, that's probably just an urban legend. We're you know, SNI have not really had to deal with like drunk employees before. Except for Lulu.
Any employee, I know a lot of people like just clients in general like to smoke pot and like in the float industry, like pot is like a big thing, you know. So.
But like, yeah, and so like, and people will call. Someone called Mary. Was it yesterday? Mary was texting both of us, right?
Mhm.
And someone called Mary and asked her if like we had the phone number for Dr. Feinstein, for Justin Feinstein, right? Who's like the most prominent researcher who used to work at the Laureate Institute for Brain Research in Oklahoma. And they were like, do you have Dr. Feinstein's phone number? And we were like, no, we don't. What are you talking about, right? But, what was I going to say? Yeah, people will, like, call and be like, can I do mushrooms in your tank? And it's like, no, you definitely can't. Like, they will just call and ask, like, is it okay if I, you know, do this? And bring my psilocybin or whatever. It's like, no, you definitely cannot, okay? And not because we're poo-pooing drugs or whatever, but, like, this is a public place. And, like, there are so many float centers that have said, like, they had someone do mushrooms in the tank, and then they came out, and, like, they were walking around naked, but they thought they had their clothes on, and then, like, other clients were, like, uncomfortable, you know? And like literally, you know, you don't know what's gonna happen when you're tripping, right? And it's like you can't do that at our place of business. Some float centers, we don't do this, by the way, guys, but like some float centers, they're like, oh, you know, for our members, and if they want to try it, like we'll open late and let them do it like late at night while we're there or whatever. But honestly, that's like a lot of liability. I wouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
their insurance companies are gonna drop them if they do that.
Yeah. So you know, people will say like, oh, I heard someone did it at a center in Colorado or something, and be like, okay, well, we're not a center in Colorado. Please go drive out there and do it if you want to, but we don't do that. So no drugs of any kind on the premises or in the tank.
Unless they're prescription.
Unless you have a prescription for them and you are taking them according to the dosage that your doctor has determined is good for you, and they know that you're floating. Well, because things like, you know, like we said, like blood pressure medication, if you take blood pressure medication, you shouldn't float. Or you should know that if you do float, like it can have certain side effects and stuff, right? So talk to your doctor. Even if it's a prescription medication, like what the float tank is not necessarily like the same as when you're sitting on your couch. What are your other...
Oh, yeah, and then we could just talk about what to do if you can't hear someone on the intercom. They're clearly trying to tell you something, but it just sounds like really, like, garbled. Yeah. Yeah, for me, like, because Laura says it's because she has kids, like, that she can understand what they're saying. She understands gibberish, but I almost can never understand anything they're saying to me.
Okay, how many more of these do we have, Essa?
Just that one, and then what they should do if someone complains about their massage.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit about the float rescue board, because they might be wondering what it is. We don't have to go into great detail about it.
Well,
but...
I want Anne to flip rooms, and that takes some time.
Okay.
And it's 2:30 right now.
Okay.
So just being cognizant of the time, let's only spend 10 more minutes on it.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Maybe that sheet.
which one?
The family membership?
Yes. And then someone canceled their membership. Hold on. I want to tell, did I text Chelsea? I did not.
No, you just told her about the new one.
I was actually thinking that when you
Yeah,
walked
I know,
in,
you want-
it's
it's like-
so slick. Yeah.
It's Alex's sister's old code. Mine now.
Can you sign in on there really quick, please, David?
People should compliment each other more often.
Yes.
I like your shoes, Alexis.
That's okay. Are we gonna do weekly compliments now?
We should
Speak
just have a
daily.
meeting where we just sit down together and just compliment each other for like an hour.
That sounds good. Let's do it.
Did you leave a ball for one of your
Oh,
piercings
go to this one.
in the bathroom?
No. Maybe.
Because there's a piercing ball in the corner.
Maybe.
Do you want to go look at it?
Okay. Chelsea has all of the current members upstairs, right? The pink folders?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so JACLYNCOLI. Okay, thank you. I texted Chelsea.
Okay.
It's like falling.
I thought that the pink folder was down here, but I think she has it upstairs.
Yeah.
You didn't need to wait. Sorry.
That's okay. I don't mind. I like hanging out with you guys.
It is a good vibe in here.
It is a good vibe. You want
Probably just the intercom and the massage thing. The
Okay,
most
yeah.
common ones, yeah.
Okay.
We can just like tell
Alexa's still here? No, she's gone. I'll just tell Ann. So, when, and David. Sorry, I didn't forget about it. When a session is going on, Ann, and the music is playing, I find it easier to hear when I pause the music. So I always take the iPod and I pause the music, and then I talk to them. But then you have to remember when you're done talking to them to unpause the music. Okay? And the other thing is you need to constantly remind people to answer with yes or no answers.
Okay.
People are bad at following directions. Just say it over and over again. So your first question is always, are you okay? Yes or no? And then they'll say, sorry, okay, are you okay? Please give me a yes or no answer, yes or no. And then they say yes or no. And then you say, do you need something, yes or no? And then they'll say, and I say, do you need something, yes or no? And then they say no. And I'm like, okay, enjoy your float. Because they just want to say, like, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button on accident. You know what I mean?
You have to
Like,
hold everything down and you pick it
yes.
up.
It's just like a walkie-talkie. So you push the button to talk, but then you cannot hear them when the button is pushed. So you release the button, and then you can hear what they're saying.
Wait, which button do you push?
This button.
Oh.
Are you okay?
I've been pushing the wrong button.
Did they hear you?
Yeah, they've heard me before, but I think I'm pushing the wrong one.
There's only one button.
Oh.
Well, there's like
You were
hang up
hanging
button.
There's the hang button.
There's
That's
two
not
buttons.
correct. You probably pushed the right one if they heard you. There's literally only one correct button.
But here, so what if
You're
they,
pushing my buttons, Hobbs.
but what do you do when they actually do try to tell you something? Because I haven't had that situation. I cannot understand that.
Okay, so if you start guessing things that you think they might need, okay? So first you can say, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble understanding you. I'm going to ask you some yes or no. They can hear you.
I was going to say, how does
They
that
can-
sound in there?
They can hear you.
All
You
right.
say, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm going to ask some yes or no questions. And then you just say, like, did you want me to change the music? And they'll say, yes. And I say, do you want the ocean sounds? Yes. Okay, enjoy your float. And then you hang it up. The other thing people often will say, like, usually it's just they want to change the music if they want something. If it's something more complicated, like, I just want to do 30 minutes instead of an hour, or I wanted to book a massage afterwards. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Someone
And then-
called me for water. Can you bring me some water, please?
Yeah.
Somebody asked me to do
And
that.
they're like, am I a flight
Here, what do you
attendant?
do though in that situation?
So if you can't understand them, you just say, I'm having difficulty understanding you through the intercom system. Sorry, I'm really tired now. And then you say, like, I'm going to come to your door and unlock it and talk to you through the cracked door. And then you hang this up. And then you take your key. We have keys here. We used to have it labeled. And then we really need to decide what we're going to do, too, Essa. A lot of float centers keep the key to the float rooms on the hook in the float hallway. However, because of safety reasons, I do not want to leave a key in the hallway and someone can just enter someone else's float. That's creepy.
There's a key on the kitchenette that used to hang on the
You can have a locked key
therapist.
box.
We have like 10 keys. Well, no, we have like 10 keys here. We could probably just put it on this key. But we've also been discussing how we shouldn't have this key just sitting in the drawer. People could just come up and steal stuff from it, too. I mean, if they know how to use Square Point of Sale, they can also just hit the open drawer button, you know. But, like, we need to figure out where we're going to hang this key. But we should hang it back here somewhere.
We should,
So people know which key is the right key. But anyway, it's...
I feel like there should be like hooks, like somewhere like here.
I
right
agree.
Here,
Mm-hmm.
where they're
Yes. We have a lot of people with very...
on the other side.
Oh, I see.
We have a lot of people with very happy knees. Like tall people who keep hitting everything off the sides, too.
Yeah, that is true.
But I mean, it's better than just this key box if you have an emergency and you're panicking and you have to go
Right.
through and try every key like you're
They
Harry
have nice
Potter.
looking lock boxes that
I
are
actually did
small and
bring
flat,
hooks,
and you
so
can
we
hang
have these hooks right
multiple keys
here.
in.
Does this one work, Elsa?
Yeah, it's all the keys
this
that
light
don't have
bulb.
anything. Oh no, the Schlage keys that have nothing on the back of them.
What does that one say on the back?
It doesn't have anything, but it just says Schlage on it, on the front, and nothing on the back. So I do have like a hook over here that I was planning to put.
I was like, where did these pigs come from when I saw you?
Oh, I went to Case Banking, grabbed a bunch of
Well, I
them.
like that.
It's so cute. And I was being really Chinese because I was grabbing like a whole bunch of them, and the security guard was looking at me. And
So these ones you said.
yeah.
So what is this a key to? This is the front door, maybe?
I don't know.
No, I don't know what this is. It's almost exactly the same. This is probably just a shitty copy of it.
Maybe it could be.
Okay, but anyway, can you
So
show them how to open a door? Room
Yeah.
six.
Okay. So is sixes not being used?
None of them are being used.
Okay.
open the door. You don't have to open it all the way. Just crack it open,
Yeah.
and then you can talk to the client through it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is Lau flipping 6 then?
Yeah, I think he's.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell him to stop or?
No.
Okay.
Just have Ann flip 3. I know you
Okay.
watched Alexis flip 2 rooms, so I want you to flip this one by yourself. Alexis, will you just be in there?
I actually watched Anne flip one of the
Oh,
rooms this
okay.
morning.
Okay.
She said there was this one time with Heather where like they had to be flipping rooms.
Yeah.
There was miscommunication.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So you can flip a room.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to flip 3, then we'll just check it when you're done.
I do also need to adjust the training document for some of the stuff for Anne.
Oh, okay, great.
So it's
Okay.
So David, can I have that? Laura, are they allowed to use the newer laptop that they have to do stuff?
Yeah.
That laptop is super slow back there, and
Yeah.
I think it's okay for like having phone helm, but to actually like use Word and stuff, it's just like really slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted that.
So
Put this.
Okay. Well, you said you got a hook, right? Should we just
Yeah.
bring it up?
Yeah, I mean, there's a hook right here. Yeah.
Oh, it just needs a command strip on the back.
Yeah, or we could just use it like some tape or something since we're not showing it to customers. Yeah.
Do we have duct tape?
We have painter's tape.
The painter's tape is not very strong.
Oh no, we cannot stop taking back. Unless you.
Can I have it, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
I had a command strip booker, but Char was playing with the hooks the other day, and yeah. And then I guess if people are unhappy about their massages, should they just radio upstairs to have the person upstairs handle it? How should they?
Yeah. For now, that's fine.
Yeah. That's most of the problems that we could think about, so that'll help you. Now, that's probably one of the most difficult things to handle when people are unhappy with things, you know?
Because with massage, like we have to pay the therapist, so that's like really annoying.
We have to decide whether to punish them or not, and to take away their pay.
Right.
And whether it's
We
their
have to hold
fault,
them accountable if it's their fault.
whether it's their fault or the client's fault. And sometimes, like, I can convince the client to just take like half off, you know, and then it's okay. We can still pay the therapist if the therapist did nothing wrong, you know.
Right.
So the client is just being
Right.
difficult.
That's a good point. So if you have
So should I put this key here on this one or on this one?
Where is it going to hit your knees? Like, which one is more likely to? Because I don't have this knee problem that you guys do.
I think it's more likely to hit the inner part, probably.
So you
Is
should
it
put
more
on
likely
the
to
outer
turn
part?
into this or turn into that as opposed to turn into
So
the
should we put it
wall?
right here?
Probably.
Because if you're turning toward clients, you might hit it on that side too.
Yeah.
So you could hit either side here. So let's put it here.
I mean, when there's one person at the front desk, which there usually is now, what computer do they use?
I usually use this one. Oh, I was wondering if I could have Clarissa's spot on the computer on the
This
main
one?
rack.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to redo all the logins and stuff.
Okay.
But this one is older and slower.
Yeah,
This one
I
is
usually
newer
use
and
this one.
faster.
I would use one or the other.
But we'll need to standardize that. So.
Yeah.
Why do you use this one, Adam?
Because it's faster.
It's
In and
faster.
out.
I'm going to have this one replace them at
It's
some
also
point.
like closer to where the people are.
No, I get it. I would
Yeah,
sit
I
at
can't
this
see
one.
over this computer.
Well, this one I always sit at this one. And you're closer to these things and closer to this. And also, so the creepy clients don't touch me so much.
I just can't see over that computer.
I know.
And people can't see me over the computer.
Paloma was like, oh, we should get these little boxes to put stuff like a little drawer to like raise these up more. I was like, nobody can even see over this one, Paloma. If you put it even higher, you'll like be like looking around all the time to see people. Like it makes sense because having it higher is like better for you than like looking down.
Yeah, I think she was expecting us to stand up because I was like, I don't want to stand up for my whole shift.
Yeah.
She suggested that to me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, I think it's a good idea. We have so little space here, you know. But still, I was like, but no one you can see around these gigantic ass computers. It's not like a cubicle where there's just a wall behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's your Mickey Mouse.
thank you for doing that very draining.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I'm gonna take the
both of
clips
you.
and I'm gonna put them on YouTube and let the staff watch them because it's really good.
Okay, well, you have to edit out the clips from when you guys were on your lunch break.
Oh, okay.
For reasons.